Hello, this is JO83, and this is the very final episode, and it's a sad time for everyone, I think. It's the last episode of Pierre's Path to Glory in Abu Dhabi, and as we said last episode, we have got an absolute ton of upgrades, because we are going to be starting last on the grid, and just seeing what happens. Let's try and have some fun. It's the last time we'll be able to drive this unbelievably good Red Bull in career mode, and yeah, it's probably like the last time I do a career, drive a career mode on F1 2016, to be honest, so yeah, pretty sad times, but you can see all these parts that we're fitting. I think it ended up about 5 or 6 parts that we ended up with, which makes the Red Bull massively quicker than everything else on the grid. I'm going to show you on the R&D in just a second just how much better it is than a Mercedes. There you go. And so hopefully Verstappen, my teammate, should be on pole by an absolute country mile. But let's go on to practice then. There's not really much point doing the track acclimatization because it's the last episode, so there's no point in earning points, but I thought I'd do the quali sim anyway, just to get a bit used to the new Red Bull. It's effectively a B spec. We've added that many upgrades to it, and let's see what we can do in the qualifying pace test. And it isn't actually that good. It's only a green score, which yeah, we could do a lot better with that. But anyway, let's go on to qualifying, and it's dusk, of course. The Abu Dhabi is the only day to night race on the F1 calendar. Hopefully we can do well as it goes into twilight, and we're just going to retire immediately from qualifying. And let's take a look straight then at results, and it is Max Verstappen on pole, my teammate, by almost a second. That's how good the Red Bull is, from Daniel Ricciardo and Lewis Hamilton in the two Mercedes cars, with Fernando Alonso up in 4th place in that McLaren, not doing too badly at all, ahead of both Ferraris and the two Toro Rossos so Raikkonen next with Sainz 6th. Jensen Button, Vettel, Palmer, Bottas and Nico Carey rounding out the top 11, carrying a good position for the fresh tyres though, with Magnussen, Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, Perez, Ocon, Pascal Wehrlein and Force India not doing too well, with George Russell, Leclerc, the two Sauers rounding out the drivers who made a time, almost 3.7 seconds off the pace at the bottom there, with Will Stevens and myself in last place. Let's go on with the race.
On Abu Dhabi this evening, but there's no thought of rest for the 11 teams working feverishly on the grid. The lights are on, and we prepare to go racing one final time. We've seen some magical moments in this race since its debut in 2009. Can it put us under its spell once more?
So I'm going to be trying a two-stop strategy here, super soft and an ultra soft at the end if I can stretch that, but we might have to go on to set of softs for the final stint, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's go on with the 5 red lights then. From last place on the grid, it's going to be a very important start to try and make as many positions as we can while the AI are going to go slowly. And it is lights out and away we go, and the two Saubers of Will Stevens and Giovinazzi are going to be very slow, as well as the Haas car on the right hand side of Leclerc. Now we've got the Manor of Ocon and Pascal Wehrlein alongside. We're going diving up the inside there of the Manor car. I think it might be George Russell actually, but we're 3 wide still with the Force India and the Manor, and that's not really going to work. And Russell turns into me. I've lost the back end slightly, lost all the momentum, and Wehrlein goes past, as well as Leclerc, and one of the Sauber cars of Giovinazzi goes past me as well. Will Stevens right behind me, but we're just going to dive it. I don't want to be dealing with these Saubers. They're slow as anything, so just get straight ahead of them. This Red Bull is too good for them Saubers, and they're going to go side by side now. But let's get round the hairpin then, just try not to crash or lose front wing or anything, and just let's push on onto the back of Charles Leclerc in his Haas car. It could have been a better start. We've only gained 2 positions on the two Saubers, which are, as we've seen all season, pretty slow. We're going to go up the inside now of Charles Leclerc, and there's the Force India of Wehrlein and George Russell going side by side ahead. So we're going to try and take advantage of them too, as AI cars don't normally do well going side by side here, but I've had to do a cutback line. Russell's been forced out, Leclerc's got the position back off me, but I'm going to go around the outside now, and Russell has gone very, very slowly. Leclerc is in the slipstream, and we're going to try and go around the outside of everyone. We've all got to run on Wehrlein as well, so this is going to be very, very tasty here. We're going to try and go around out the outside, into the pit exit almost. We go around the outside of everyone, clip Pascal Wehrlein a little bit. Russell was forced over the curb, but Wehrlein holds it right at the inside. Very, very good driving from Pascal Wehrlein in that very slow Force India, it has to be said. But he's going to hold it around the outside still, Pascal Wehrlein, and he is like proving himself in this car now as a very good racer. But he goes right around the outside of the triple right-hander, very difficult to do, and he holds it off from me. And I'm trying to get as high up at the grid as I can. I still want to win this race. Verstappen and Hamilton and Ricciardo are going to be streaking away in the lead. You can see the lead on the minimap Verstappen has already. That's just how good this Red Bull car is. But we're going to have to try and overtake Pascal Wehrlein as soon as we can, because all the time we're stuck down at this end, my main rivals are actually pulling away very quickly. But Wehrlein now into turn 1, we're diving up the inside. He doesn't put up much of a fight, or anywhere near as much of a fight as he did last time. And that is us up into 5th last place now. So it feels weird talking about 5th last as a place we're in, but still, after this season, it's we have to get used to it again. But here's Sergio Perez, and we go diving up the inside. And there's a double dive bomb on Romain Grosjean as well. I didn't expect that. And Grosjean going very slowly with his brakes. They're probably on fire, to be fair. But now we've done a cutback line on Romain Grosjean in his Haas car. We're side by side down towards onto the next DRS straight. But obviously DRS not enabled yet, as it is only lap 2. But we're side by side now with the Frenchman in the Haas and going around the outside. Hopefully he'll leave me the space on the outside. He does that just well enough, and we are straight back past him and up into about 16th place, I think, at this point. Verstappen and Hamilton streaking away in the lead. They both set purple laps, but now we're on the back of Nico Carey. He's not doing very well. He had a poor start, I think, from 11th where he qualified, and is now down to about 15th. So we're going to go up the inside into turn 1, much like we did on Verline. And now we're going to try and pressurise the Renault of, I think it's Kevin Magnussen up ahead. And here it is. There's 2 cars going slowly, actually. There's 3 wide, Raikkonen, Alonso, and Magnussen. And there's 4 cars. There's too many cars to commentate on. And we're all in a cluster of... there's Ocon has managed to gain advantage on everyone. Magnussen up the inside of Ocon. And he's hit him. Magnussen has hit the outside, and there's a spin, and Magnussen is now a roadblock. That has not gone well. I don't know if that was my fault. I tried going around the outside. I think Magnussen was probably a little bit optimistic. That's caused a safety car now. So that is... I think Magnussen was a bit optimistic trying to go up the inside there. I don't know if that was my fault or not. Leave your thoughts on the in the comments section. But now let's get a replay at the start of what happened up front, as we haven't really seen it at all. And it looked like a very good start from Ricciardo compared to Verstappen. Ricciardo actually took the lead into turn 1. Verstappen trying to hold it around the outside. They almost made contact there, but Hamilton, I think, got past Ricciardo at some point later in the lap. But Alonso also in 4th place with Button 5th. So the McLaren Honda's really doing well here. They haven't got the best car, but it seems like this Abu Dhabi track suits their car quite well. So yeah, interesting to see. And Hamilton and Ricciardo trying to just stay with Verstappen, as this Red Bull, as we saw in qualifying, is about a second quicker every lap than all of the drivers, or the closest competitors anyway. It's about 3 seconds quicker than like the Force Indias and Saubs at the bottom. But with the slipstream onto the back straight, you can see Verstappen not really defending, but Hamilton definitely attacking Ricciardo, and there's Sainz in the background attacking Jensen Button, I think that is, within the McLaren. But the Mercedes go side by side. I think this is what allowed Verstappen to get such a lead. As Hamilton gets forced off by his teammate, the Mercedes make contact. Alonso's going to try and take advantage. He makes it 3 wide, Fernando Alonso, and Sainz and Button have a massive overspeed as well. Sainz is going to go up the inside of everyone. Sainz could take 2nd place. There's a Ferrari of Vettel up into challenging for 4th as well. Sainz and Hamilton go side by side, 3 wide, a lot of contact with Alonso, Ricciardo and Vettel. Vettel's forced out and now is defended from Button. There's just cars everywhere, and Hamilton just about held it off from Carlos Sainz, but Sainz up into 3rd place. So that'd be very decent for the Toro Rosso team if he could stay there. And also a replay of Sebastian Vettel's point of view, and it was a very slow start, it has to be said. The Renault of Palmer and the Williams of Hulkenberg going around the outside into turn 1. And yeah, Vettel not getting a good start at all. It's down to 10th place, or maybe 11th place. I can't see quite on the dash on the steering wheel, but he's just about held it off from Nico Hulkenberg on the right hand side. Now he's going to try and pressurise Jolyon Palmer, but it's not really going to happen for him. Vettel not a great start. And let's get on board with Kimi Raikkonen later on lap 1. As we saw, this is what happened in the absolute cluster of the top 7 all going side by side, it felt like. But there's the Mercedes up ahead forcing each other off. Here's Sainz and Button going side by side as well. Alonso has to get out the throttle and avoid the 2 Mercedes going side by side. So Sainz, you can just see him going up the inside, very opportunistic. Raikkonen up the inside of Button as well, and Ricciardo and Alonso. So Raikkonen going 3 wide, and there's a lot of contact there, and that gives him a lot of slowing down to do. And Raikkonen just about losing all those positions that he gained, and Button now back around the outside. So it could have gone better for Raikkonen, but it definitely probably couldn't have gone better for Carlos Sainz. That is an unbelievable start. But now a few drivers pitted on the safety car, so it is Daniel Ricciardo leading from the Ferrari. I think it's Sebastian Vettel. Myself in 3rd place as Verstappen came in. It is Raikkonen in 2nd place, with Hamilton in 5th, with 2 Saubers running 7th and 8th in a minute, I think. And that is very, very good. The Saubers never really get out of last place in this career mode, but the 2 drivers ahead, Hamilton and Raikkonen, both pulling into the pits on the safety car restart. So that's myself back up into 1st place, only defending from Verstappen. But that has helped us out an absolute ton, because our tyres are very fresh, and everyone else on the Warn Ultra Softs decided to pit on lap 4 when the safety car came out. It felt like a long time ago, so it's spent quite a long time in the replay cameras, but still. The Saubers are now in 4th and 5th, and we have behind us we have Verstappen, sorry, and then Carlos Sainz, and then it's there's another car. I can't quite remember who it is behind me, but then the Saubers are actually 4th and 5th, so or 5th and 6th, so they're doing unbelievably well. But that's also meaning that they're holding everyone up. So as you can see, it's a Mercedes. I think it's Hamilton behind Verstappen, but Verstappen's going to go for a move into the next section. I'm going to squeeze Verstappen to the inside, and we're going to go side by side. Hamilton might try and take advantage. We go defensive as anything, and Hamilton's gone around the outside. He's hit me with spun, and that's going to allow Carlos Sainz past. Hamilton gave me a half spin there. That was a little bit dirty from Hamilton. You can see in the background Giovinazzi trying to overtake his teammate Will Stevens, as the Sauber's not really doing very well. But let's try and get at the back of Carlos Sainz once again, as we need to get right up to Verstappen and Hamilton if we want a chance to win this race. Hamilton's just doing a bit of a dirty work there. He might be a bit salty that I've won the title and he hasn't, but still, that is a bit unnecessary there. Here's a replay of a lot of contact there. Alonso, and I think that's Valtteri Bottas in the background. That's a Williams car. That was, I think it was 3 wide into the turn 11 and 12, and that just didn't really work. Alonso got spun around. And the two Saubers are still doing very well, but here's the battle for the lead. Verstappen up the inside of Hamilton, and I'm in 3rd place at the minute with Carlos Sainz 4th, with Hülkenberg 5th, and the Sauber of Giovinazzi being overtaken by Ferrari's Sebastian Vettel, with the House of Leclerc in 7th place, I believe, at the minute. But Verstappen and Hamilton still going at it. Hamilton running outside of Verstappen, but he's going to hold it up the inside. This is helping me out a treat, because I've been able to close up massively now. Right back onto the gearbox of my teammate Verstappen, and now onto lap 10. And Hamilton's going to be pitting this lap, so my tyres are still going well, and Hamilton has pitted 2 times, I believe. So yeah, and Verstappen got a very bad exit because he was unsighted by Lewis Hamilton coming to the pits. So we've got a great run into turn 1. We're going to go diving up the inside. We tried it on Verline earlier, and another car, I can't remember who that was, but you go up the inside of our teammate, take the lead once again, but he is definitely one to keep an eye on for the rest of this race. Now onto lap 11, down the back straight, and my teammate Verstappen is going to go round the outside with the DRS, I believe, at this point. And if Verstappen tries it, we're going to try and defend, do the switch back, but no, Verstappen parks on the apex, so we're going to just have to try and DRS him down the straight. I don't know how quite we got DRS for this straight, but I'll take it anyway. Verstappen goes very, very wide, and we're going to swing to the outside. Sainz looks like he's trying to get involved as well. Sainz go around the outside of Verstappen as well. We're back into the lead, but Carlos Sainz and Verstappen going side by side, and I think Verstappen's just about forced Carlos Sainz out, but we're back up into the lead of the race. But now on the very next laps, Verstappen this time will definitely have DRS, so there's not really loads of point fighting it, as DRS is very powerful, as we all know by this point in the game's life cycle. But Verstappen not really having much of an overspeed, as I'm in rich mix, and he's going to go around the outside. We're going defensive once again, and a little bit of contact there, but Sainz is going to try and take advantage again, but he doesn't quite get the move done, Carlos Sainz. But they're going to go side by side. I believe Verstappen will just about have that, as he has a DRS on myself and the slipstream. But now on the end of lap 12, we're going to be coming into the pits for another set of super soft tyres. Hopefully we'll come out somewhere around Ricciardo and Hamilton. I'm not quite sure how Ricciardo is doing after he pitted the lap after the lap of the safety car came in. But even so, the strategies have all been messed up for the AI, but I don't even know what's going on. As we come into the pits, onto set of super softs, decent pit stop for the Red Bull team, and I'm just behind. There's a few cars going down the pit straight, so we're going to come out in about 6th place. And that'd be very decent. But Vettel has not overtaken me, I don't think, because he's just come across the line setting a fastest lap, and we're going to come out ahead of him. And I believe a Mercedes car, I think it's Ricciardo, as we come out the pit lane. It's a very odd pit lane, the tunnel pit exit for no obvious reason, but still. Here's the gaps at the minute. Verstappen in the lead with Carlos Sainz in 2nd place, on for a very good result here, with the 2 Mercedes, with Hamilton ahead of Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen in 5th, with myself in 6th place, and Sebastian Vettel behind. And Nico Hülkenberg and there's Giovinazzi still in the top 10, so he's doing unbelievably well in that Sauber to still be in 9th place. So my teammate is in the pits now, Verstappen, and I don't quite know what strategy he's on, but the safety cars seems to have messed up everyone's strategy, so I don't really know at this point, to be perfectly honest with you. But we're going to set a fastest lap and undercut Verstappen by an absolute mile. He might have been fighting with Sainz or something, but we've got a massive lead. It's only a 2 or 3 lap undercut. But even so, we're way ahead of my teammate, and now we're on the back of Daniel Ricciardo in his Mercedes car, which we had the fresher tyres as he fitted a long time ago, just as the safety car went in, which is about 11 laps ago. So he is going to be very, very struggling on the tyre grip at this point. So with the DRS open, he's going to give me the squeeze on the inside, and what a move. I know it has DRS open, but he almost squeezed me into the wall there. We had to be brave just to keep it in as we set a purple 2nd sector while we're at it. And you can see in the minimap Verstappen overtaking someone as well into that corner, so he's not too far behind in the chasing pack. But now down towards lap 17, the safety car has come out once again. I'm not quite sure what this is for, but I don't know if you can see it on the minimap, but here is Pascal Wehrlein, who we were battling with quite a lot earlier. It's got a massively weird delaminated puncture. I don't know if you remember Germany season 1 in this career mode. Carlos Sainz had that, where the puncture just sort of means you stop. It's really quite odd to see. Like, he's struggling massively to do anything, so the safety cards had to be put out. This Pascal Wehrlein's basically beached. But we're going to take advantage of this safety car, come onto a set of softs, and that is going to mean that with 10 laps to go once the safety car, as it stands, so once the safety car goes in, it'll be about 8 laps to go, we should be alright to go straight to the end while pushing on these soft tyres. I don't know where we're going to come out, but Verstappen's carried on, so he's going to have a bit of a big lead and a lot of track position, but we're coming out just behind 2 cars. I believe a Ferrari is there and maybe one of the Williams cars are just up the road. It might be a Toro Rosso or something, but here is Pascal Wehrlein. Like, this is a lap and a half later and Wehrlein's got that far. So a lap and a half for me and Wehrlein hasn't gone anywhere at all. This is the order behind the safety car. Verstappen in the lead with Kimi Raikkonen in second, Daniel Ricciardo third, Lewis Hamilton fourth, myself in fifth, with I think that's Kevin Magnussen in sixth place. Yes, it is, with Esteban Ocon seventh, doing very well. And Sebastian Vettel eighth with Alonso ninth and Hulkenberg rounding out the points. But the safety car restart now, and we're going to try and apply the pressure to the Mercedes car of Daniel Ricciardo, who's in fourth place at the minute. We're in fifth. And very fresh tyres now. Verstappen, I think, is going to have to pit again, as he didn't pit under the safety car. I believe the same can be said for Kimi Raikkonen as well. But I think the Mercedes, well, Hamilton's going to the end because he pitted the same lap as me, but I'm not quite sure about Ricciardo. But we're going to try and pressure him anyway. It doesn't really matter if the tyres are going to go off. We're just going to try and push anyway. As we go up the inside now, and Hamilton, I've actually got a legal overtake for that because of the smallest corner cut you ever see. And that is a bit annoying, as Vettel has now gone around the outside. So that corner cut's cost me quite a lot of time, and it was a corner cut, I'll admit, but still, I then make contact with Vettel's diffuser and go right around the outside. That's going to be a nice big move. It comes off into the 90-degree corners and right around the outside of Vettel. That is a position gain, very nice indeed. And now once again on the back of the Mercedes, you can see the lead that Verstappen has. He is really doing a much better job of showing how good this Red Bull is. I've not been driving that well, mainly battling the whole time, so obviously I can't really push in clean air very often, but Mercedes are going side by side now. They're holding each other up massively. They go right to the inside of Ricciardo, and Lewis Hamilton makes slightly wheel-to-wheel contact with Ricciardo, and Hamilton takes advantage as well. But now onto lap 23, and as I thought, Verstappen is into the pits, so that is going to release me into the lead of the race with just 4 laps remaining to try and win this race, where I've only got the Mercedes and Kimi Raikkonen to battle now. But here comes Lewis Hamilton up the inside, and it's going to be side by side now in this corner. As we know, the AI aren't brilliant at going side by side there, so I'm just a little bit cautious, but still. We retain the lead for the time being, but now on to the next lap. Mercedes once again has DRS. Lewis Hamilton goes round the outside. This is where he made contact earlier, so I don't want to do that again. And Lewis Hamilton, he does almost make contact with me, but I hold it on the curb this time. And Hamilton just about goes around the outside. He has the position. As I've run under the curb, so it's going to allow Ricciardo to have a run as well. It's like a very poor exit, but I don't quite know what he's doing. I think Raikkonen just pushed him a little bit. But still, here comes Ricciardo, and I'm back in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. This is the final 2 laps, so we've got to try and overtake him now if we want this win. And I'm going to think better of it into this corner. I'm going to be patient, wait for the DRS on the next straight, as the next straight is a much better overtaking place, as these 2 corners are a nightmare, like getting bad exits out of and stuff. But still, onto the Yas Marina bridge now, and DRS open once again on Lewis Hamilton. We've got a run. Hopefully we can go around the outside. He's going to defend the inside. We're going to try and switch it around the outside of the turn 11 corner. And he's just about going to hold it up the inside, but we go right around the outside now, and that is the first place retained, or reclaimed I should say, as Lewis Hamilton has to give way. But onto lap 28, he could have the slipstream now. Lewis Hamilton is going to try and go around the outside, looks like. Yes, he is, with that Mercedes engine, which is still better than this Red Bull engine, the Tag Heuer engine, which is a bit of a shame, but still, the Mercedes goes around the outside. Hamilton, I'm going to try and do a switchback move, and Hamilton is going to get a decent run, but we're going to try and get the DRS once again. This is the final DRS straight, so it's got to be now. We switch it to the outside of the track, go right around the outside, and that is the lead once again reclaimed into turn 11. And hopefully we can now hold this to the end of the race, which it should be quite a straightforward task, because there aren't really many opportunities to overtake in the final 90-degree section, as I like to call it, of the Abu Dhabi Yas Island circuit. Verstappen has almost caught up as well. The amount we've been battling, you see on the minimap, Verstappen is not too far behind, but he is unfortunately not in this fight, and it's between myself, Hamilton, Ricciardo, and I believe Kimi Raikkonen for the victory. But unless I make a mistake or bottle it, then hopefully this will be the victory in the bags. But around the final few corners now, it is going to be one final victory to wave his career mode away with a smile, and this is going to come around the final corner, and it's a victory for Pierre Gasly, the final race of the season. So I won the race then from Lewis Hamilton, just 3 tenths behind, with Daniel Ricciardo still within a second of me. The Mercedes running out the podium positions with Sebastian Vettel. It wasn't Kimi Raikkonen the whole time, I do apologise. Vettel just a second behind, with Verstappen ending up a disappointing 5th place, with Kevin Magnussen doing very well to get 6th, with Raikkonen, Grosjean and Hulkenberg, and Carlos Sainz bottling his strategy as well for 10th, with Fernando Alonso 11th. Charles Leclerc in 12th, it could have been a few points on the table today, but unfortunately not. With Palmer, Nico Carey, George Russell, Jenson Button, Sergio Perez and Ocon and Giovinazzi doing very well in the end. Not well, it kind of went badly, but still 19th place. With Bottas doing a 5-stop and Will Stevens 21st, with Pascal Wehrlein disqualified in the end after that puncture issue. There is the full driver's standings at the end of this career mode. I finished the season breaking the points record for F1, which I'm pretty happy with. Max Verstappen second, just 3 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the end, so he could have cost him quite badly if I hadn't overtaken Hamilton there, as he would have ended up third for my teammate, but still. Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, Vettel, Sainz, Carey, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Magnussen just about overtaking Alonso with that good result in the end, and you can see the rest of them there. But that is the final episode over of this career mode. I want to thank you all for the support I've got on this series. It's the first episode has got an awful lot of views now, so I didn't expect it to ever do quite as well as it has, or have like so much like longevity to it, which I'm pretty happy with. So there still will be content, I can assure you. Got a new series coming very shortly, but that is going to be the end of this video. If you liked it, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JM183, and I will see you next time.